The Witcher 2 is one of last year's most impressive RPGs, but a lot of people missed it simply because they didn't have PCs powerful enough to run it. Now, after a year of updates and optimization, the Enhanced Edition brings a substantial cache of new content to the original PC release, and brings that same optimized Witcher experience to the 360. Does this born and bred slayer of supernatural beasts emerge victorious once again? The short version of The Witcher's latest tale is that the tough and laconic anti-hero Geralt now has been falsely accused of slaying King Foltest, and he sets off on a quest to find the real killer and clear his name. The surrounding events here are far more complex, filled with political maneuvering, sticky moral quandaries, and encounters with monsters of many kinds. You'll sometimes wonder just who to trust, and other times suddenly find yourself with unexpected allies.
If I find your woman's murderers, will you put aside the booze?
You no find none.
We'll see.
The complicated backgrounds and strong personalities of these characters are wonderfully suited to the dramatic. If you can't appreciate someone like Zoltan Chevet, something's probably wrong with you.
Just do your part, and Cadweni heads will fly like fattened horseflies.
Threads of a larger story continue from the first game and point to the next as Geralt tries to reconcile his forgotten past. If you missed the first game, being dropped in mid-stream can be disorienting, but the thoughtful and witty writing will keep you interested, unafraid to lighten the game's often gravelly serious tone with a well-timed joke.
One of the 20 legendary rings of power would be best.
One to bring them all and in the darkness bind them.
Right. And then I'll have to run barefooted to the top of a volcano.
Unlike most games that feature moral choices, The Witcher 2 isn't about choosing to be good or evil. It's about discerning complex motivations and making tough judgment calls. While your job description casts you as a monster killer, you may actually find yourself befriending a troll. There are no bonus points telling you that your decisions are right or wrong, and the consequences may not manifest themselves for some time. The most monumental decision comes at the end of Chapter 1, putting you on dramatically different paths through the rest of the game.
Give me my sword.
This chapter-based approach keeps exploration closely tied to the story, taking you through distinctly different locations, each with their own defining features and environments. You're able to define your own pace as you freely wander through sizable tracts of land, searching for loot and tackling side quests within your current scope. But once you follow the story to the next area, there's no going back. It makes sense in context, but players who want to see it all will need to take care of any optional business before diving too deep into the main quest. While each chapter has its share of interchangeable distractions like arm wrestling tournaments and monster nests to destroy, some of the game's most interesting situations are found in the side quests. One memorable tangent comes as you investigate a cursed hospital. In another, you'll try and determine if a slinky succubus is truly a murderer. At times, people will approach you with dubious propositions, and you'll have to decide whether it's a trap
I'll have to blindfold you.
or genuinely beneficial. Where many games are filled with busy work to get loot, most of the quests in The Witcher 2 feel significant and rewarding in themselves, rather than simply being a means to an end.
I'm not mad enough to mess with you.
Depending on how exhausted you are, The Witcher 2 lasts around 30 to 50 hours. The branching nature of the story inherently encourages a second try, and players can test their skills in dark mode or the surprisingly fun arena, where you progress through stronger and stronger sets of enemies. The new material in the last third of the game is a natural fit, reuniting you with characters you may have forgotten and revealing bits of Geralt's past, while providing a strong mix of challenging combat and stimulating riddles. Unfortunately, if you're upgrading an existing PC installation, you can't use your old saves to access the new quests. Combat in The Witcher 2 is all about control and preparation. The high-stakes combat could be compared to Dark Souls in that a moment of recklessness could summarily lead to your slaughter. You'll be dealing with some truly treacherous foes, and certain lessons might be learned the hard way. Mastering the rhythm of your abilities and timing your attacks is essential, and a tutorial added since the original PC release lets you dip your toes in for a smoother start. Blades serve as your primary weapons, but you'll find a wide range of tools at your disposal. Magic isn't overly flashy, but spells serve practical and invaluable purposes like shielding your character, knocking opponents back, or turning an enemy against his fellows. You can lay down traps or toss bombs with various effects, or you can simply keep your distance with throwing knives. Your basic effectiveness can be improved by drinking potions and applying oils to your blade. The toughest battles push you to combine all these tools, putting an involving emphasis on strategic planning. three main branches of combat are represented on the skill tree when you level up, letting you emphasize swords, magic, or alchemy, although it's important to invest in a few crucial skills along each path. Early on, Geralt's movements can feel a bit stiff, but pumping some points into the swordsmanship path grants you the ability to dodge and strike with more agility, and fight more effectively against groups. The controls are much more responsive than when Witcher 2 was first released, and the Xbox 360 version is further refined with better button mapping and quick menu access when compared to using a controller on the PC. It feels perfectly natural, letting you swap out spells and tools with ease. One small addition may seem trivial but makes a world of difference. A storage solution for extra items saves time previously wasted managing resources or grinding for components you previously sold off because they were too heavy. Plus, it lets you hang on to multiple sets of armor if you ever want to go for fashion over function. One frustration is traded for another though, as autosaves are now so infrequent that they're unreliable, so the onus is on you to save often in dangerous territory. We also encountered a rare but disappointing glitch that completely immobilized a tough enemy, removing the challenge from what could have been a harrowing battle. You couldn't exactly call it hard on the eyes, but it's true that the Xbox 360 version doesn't have quite the same clarity and wow factor of the PC game. Textures, lighting models, and physics-based animations are less detailed, and there are more doors dividing one area of a town from the next. Nonetheless, in the absence of a direct comparison, the craftsmanship of The Witcher 2's distinct, beautiful locales is impeccable. Each piece of armor is intricately detailed, light shifts naturally throughout the day, and the world feels lively and active. The performance and gameplay holds up quite well, but cinematics can seem a bit rough, as texture streaming struggles to keep up with shifting camera angles. Great ambient sound effects vary based on location and time of day, engrossing you in your surroundings, and the touching score shifts between haunting anthems and rustic medieval melodies. The Enhanced Edition also includes several new cinematics, including a new intro that does a better job setting the stage for your arrival, summary scenes between chapters, and an ending that teases what lies ahead. If you missed The Witcher 2 in 2011, don't miss it in 2012. The Xbox 360 version has some rough edges, but these annoyances aren't significant enough to sully the experience. The Witcher 2 is a beauty to behold with a rich, involving fiction framing strategic and challenging combat. Most of all, its mature implementation of morality, choice, and consequence is a step forward that more games would be wise to follow. If you're interested in games as an art form, making the acquaintance of Geralt is a wise choice indeed.